formerly been disciples. We read in John 6 of such an occasion when, after great multitudes had been following him, there came a point when many turned back and they followed him no more. Jesus had been betrayed by one of the 12. It's repeatedly emphasized many of the times when Judas is mentioned in the gospel writings. Judas, one of the 12, who also betrayed him. Jesus had known that. He had been forsaken also by the other 11 in the garden. First of all, there was their failure to watch with him. Could you not watch with me 1 hour? When he most needed their human companionship, and they failed him, they forsook him. Then there was their physical desertion, when the soldiers came to arrest him and they fled for their lives. There was his being forsaken by Peter in the courtyard, as our Lord was on trial before Caiaphas, and Peter was below in the courtyard in the home of the high priest, and there Peter forsook the Lord. He denied 3 times that he knew Jesus. And Jesus was no stranger to being forsaken, abandoned by men. But this was something altogether different. This was abandonment by God. My God, why have you forsaken me? And you see, on the cross, God imputed sin to Jesus. On the cross, God was dealing with all his elect people in the person of their covenant head and representative. And as their head and representative, Jesus took their guilt and he bore their judgment. And this is the whole point of the crucifixion, that Jesus bore our judgment, our condemnation. Paul says Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law, having become a curse for us. And that was what Jesus was experiencing on the cross. He was being treated as the greatest sinner who ever lived. And he was forsaken, abandoned by God. These were the words that Jesus cried out with a loud voice. John also records words that were spoken immediately before Jesus died. He tells us that he said, "It is finished," and bowed his head and gave up his spirit. And we conclude that probably the words that John records were spoken just immediately before the words recorded here in verse 46. Jesus probably said, "It is finished. Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." "It is finished" was a cry of triumph. It was the cry of one who had borne the judgment of God and had borne it to the end, and now was conscious that it was over forever. Christ would never suffer further. God's wrath would never fall upon those who believe in Jesus. And Jesus says in triumph, just before he dies, "It is finished." It's a reminder of what it means to be a Christian. To be a Christian is to put one's trust and confidence and faith in something which is finished. Christ has fulfilled all righteousness for his people. He has paid the debt in full. There is nothing further to pay. Faith means coming with nothing in our hands, but empty-handed to receive with gladness what Jesus Christ has done. The hymn writer puts it thus: Thy works, not mine, O Christ, speak gladness to this heart. They tell me all is done. They bid my fear depart. To whom save thee, who canst alone for sin atone, Lord, shall I flee? Thy pains, not mine, O Christ, upon the shameful tree, have paid the law's full price and purchased peace for me. Thy cross, not mine, O Christ, has borne the awful load of sins that none in heaven or earth could bear but God. Thy death, not mine, O Christ, has paid the ransom due. 10,000 deaths like mine would have been all too few. Thy righteousness, O Christ, alone can cover me. No righteousness avails save that which is of thee. To whom save thee, who canst alone for sin atone, Lord, shall I flee? And you see, that is the language of Christian faith. It is finished. It is done. Christ has made atonement. There is nothing left for any sinner to do but to believe and to cast himself utterly upon the mercy of God in Jesus Christ and to receive forgiveness freely offered in the gospel. Well, Jesus said, "It is finished," and immediately afterwards, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." Jesus was conscious that his sufferings were over. He had accomplished everything that the Father had given him to do. The agony of that separation is now finished. My God, why have you forsaken me? But he is forsaken no more. He is now altogether one with the Father. And now, in calm assurance, Jesus commits himself in death to the care of his Father in heaven. These words, together with his words to the dying thief, "Assuredly I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise," these words make it clear that at the death of Jesus, his spirit was immediately taken to be with his Father in paradise. And meanwhile, his body was lovingly committed to the tomb. But first, before recording that, Luke records the response of those present at Jesus' death. First of all, verse 47, the centurion. When Jesus died, the centurion exclaimed, "Certainly, this was a righteous man." Matthew and Mark tell us that he said this was the Son, or possibly a Son, of God. We do not know exactly what this Roman soldier would have understood by that, but it's clear that this man, who had undoubtedly seen many men die, he had never seen anything like this. And he was overwhelmed with the realization this was no criminal. This was a righteous man, worthy to be called a Son of God.